good evening to everyone joining us from around the world. I'm truly honored and delighted to welcome you all today to this LinkedIn Live event, Beyond the Buzz, Gen AI in SAP Finance, Procurement, and Supply Chain, proudly hosted by Pronix. Generative AI has moved beyond experimentation now. It is redefining how enterprises operate. What was once a futuristic concept is now empowering CFOs, chief procurement officers, and supply chain leaders to make data driven, intelligent, and agile decisions in real time. In today's session, we will explore how Gen AI is as seamlessly integrated into SAP environments, transforming organizations to automate complex financial and procurement workflows, improve supplier collaboration and forecasting accuracy, as well as driving efficiency and compliance through intelligent insights. Whether it's automating invoice approvals in finance, optim- optimizing requisitions in procurement, or predicting disruptions across the supply chain, generative AI within SAP S4 HANA and with the help of BTP is helping enterprises become faster, smarter, and more resilient. A little bit about Pronix, our company. At Pronix, we specialize in AI and data driven SAP transformation services that deliver measurable business value. We help organizations integrate GenAI within SAP system, modernize processes, and ensure governance, trust, and scalability, enabling clients to achieve real ROI from their AI investments. Our mission is very simple: to help enterprises move beyond the buzz and harness AI for real business impact. And that is what our the entire webinar is today about. Today, I'm very honored and privileged to have with us an incredible panel of thought leaders and industry experts joining from diverse business domains. Let me take a moment to welcome and introduce each of them. I would first call upon Mr. Srinath Ganesh, Director and Center of Excellence for Finance and Risk Solutions from SAP. He's a strategic finance leader with deep expertise in enterprise digital transformation. Srinath brings a CFO's perspective on how Gen AI in SAP Finance is driving transparency, accuracy, and intelligent decisions making. Right. Then our next panel speaker is Mr. Mohamed Abdlattif Osman. He is head of purchasing. Mohammed brings a practitioner's viewpoint from manufacturing sector, offering valuable insights into how AI and SAP are revolutionizing purchase, vendor performance, and supply chain collaboration. And the third person who has joined is Senior Director of Supply Chain and industry expert in supply chain strategy, technology enablement from US, and his name is Mr. Rodolfo Medina. Rodolfo will share how AI-driven automation within SAP can optimize supplier engagement, spend management, and operational efficiency as well. So today we have these three speakers, industry experts, with us to talk about how GenAI will help them within SAP. So without further, I think let's start with it. Let's begin our conversation. Let me first invite each of the panelists to briefly introduce themselves and share a glimpse of their professional journey and perspective on today's topic. Over to you, Mr. Srinath, if you can start with it.
Hey, thanks, Raj. I hope I'm audible, loud and clear. Okay.
Loud and clear.
Okay. So as you introduced, my name is Srinath. I'm basically a finance professional, close to around 2.5 decades in the area of audit assurance, accounting, and ERP implementations. I'm happy to share my perspectives on today's topic. Okay, which is more relevant considering the investments which is happening across industries, across regions on the aspect of AI. Okay, and especially when it comes to SAP, most of the customers do ask what it could be the quickest return on investment when they speak about AI on SAP. Okay, so topic is good, topic is relevant, and I think one important takeaway is you have got three people. All three of us represent an enterprise: finance, supply chain, and manufacturing. So typically, you are covering the entire enterprise. That I'm sure at the end of this today's webinar, the participants would be enriched with a lot of good use cases, plus also practical challenges, practical use cases, and also what could be their first thing that they will do tomorrow when they speak about AI. Thank you,
Great.
Raj, and thank you, Pronix team.
Thank you very much,
So,
sir. Over to Mr. Rodolfo.
hello, good morning, good evening. So, thank you first and foremost. Thank you for the invite. It's a pleasure to be here and have the opportunity to share my thoughts and my experiences. A little bit about myself. I've been a procurement and supply chain professional for more than 20 years. I've worked for multiple organizations across my tenure, including Walmart, Coca-Cola, Danone, um, and others among the healthcare space, CPG, technology. So I've had the privilege to have a good peek into how different industries evolve and how these needs are aligned to our current discussion topic today. Certainly, this is a key topic and something that is going to revolutionize how we do business in the future, especially within the finance, supply chain, and procurement spaces. So it's a pleasure to be here, and I look forward to sharing my thoughts.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Rodolfo. Over to you, Mr. Mohammed.
Hey, hello. Thank you for having me. I'm very glad to be part of this panel and with extraordinary expert in this panel. I am Mohamed Abdlattif Osman. Spent over 18 years leading procurement and supply chain and transformation across the telecom, manufacturing, and construction, plus real estate sectors in the Middle East and Africa. I work with several ERP systems starting from SAP, Ariba, SAP HANA, Oracle, Yardi, many different systems. And over the past few years, I have been astonished, frankly, from how the generative AI is no longer a concept. It's become an engine of driving a smarter sourcing, risk reduction, and supplier collaboration. In procurement, the real value of GNI isn't replacing people, it's augmenting decision making, turning complex supplier data into insight that's improve the speed and transparency and resilience. Today, I'm excited to share some practical cases and also to speak of how this innovation is already reshaping the sourcing negotiation and managing the supplier in SAP ecosystems. Small word here that, in short, Gen AI won't replace procurement professional. That's one of the scary things people think, but it's actually redefining the professions and it's elaborating our experience. And thank you again, guys.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mohammed. Obviously, it is not replacing anybody. It is actually now redefining the entire people's way of working that we have been doing all these years. So, anyway, thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for those wonderful introductions. It's inspiring to see such a diverse experts coming together for this important conversation for us. Thank you very much. Now that we have the stage, set the stage, let's dive into the heart of today's discussion: how generative AI is transforming finance, procurement, and supply chain within SAP ecosystem. Our goal is to uncover real world use cases, uh, probably the challenges and success stories from different perspective, like now from finance, procurement, and the technology experts. Before we start, to all the people who have joined the audiences, we want to hear from you as well. Please type your questions about GenAI or SAP or any of the topics that you have, we would want you to cover in the chat box. We will be addressing them probably end of the webinar to make sure your questions are in early. So ensure that it has been put in there, and don't hold back. No question is too big or too small. Any questions that you would want us to answer, please put it across. So shall we start? Great. So let's start with our first question. Okay, Gen AI has quickly moved from the just as a buzzword to a boardroom priority. What is driving this urgency, and how it is moving forward? Probably we can start with Mr. Srinath.
Hey, thank you. The good question to start, okay? Because one of the main aspects why people are starting to uh, discuss about AI, okay, at least in the corridors of the office, and from corridors it has moved to the boardroom, right? So there has been a consistent view from the boardroom that what are the technologies that they could able to implement and get a quick win on the implementation that has gone through in technologies. Okay, it could be in terms of a transaction system, it could be in terms of a reporting system, but given per se that all this implemented, now they want a tangible benefit, and tangible benefit when we speak about it, right from implementing a standard automation system now to the AI, right? So there's also a kind of a peer pressure. There's also a kind of a stakeholder pressure, right? If a
Hmm.
company is listed, if the company is not listed, so there are kind of different pressures that comes to in multiple ways, right? For example, one, whether my implementing AI could help in reducing, improving my efficiency, reducing my overheads, bringing the governance into picture. So how, in what areas that AI could fit in, right? So is it cost, is it efficiency, or it in the risk? So if these three are necessary in a boardroom discussion, and then the board discusses that, okay, if I want to take up a project on these three factors, not just from a finance perspective, it could be from a supply chain, it could be from procurement, it could be from HR, irrespective of it, how fast I could able to adopt AI, right? And when I say adopt AI, how fast the KPI of this project could be achieved, right? For example, if you look at a finance process, the financial statement to respective stock exchange, right? So they need to publish the results. So before
Hmm.
they publish the results, so how fast they could able to automate the process of books closing, how AI can able to automate certain steps, right? For example, it could be depreciation posting, it could be capitalization entries, it could be inventory reconciliation, how AI could able to come and help the finance team, finance leaders, that if you do this, you know, AI automation, this could able to end up in improving the PE ratio of the listed company. So we need to have a tangible metrics, and that's where um, the discussion from an IT perspective, IT from a finance perspective, it has moved from corridors to the boardroom. Okay, and
Understood.
so there's no, and there are enough use cases that they don't want to experiment, right? There's no called as the, nowadays customers are not even looking at a concept of POC of a no, or a MVP to do a experiment. They want, yes, this is a need, and I want this. Simple is that there's an urgency. I want to adopt it as early as possible.
Okay, great perspective. What about you, Mr. Rodolfo?
Sure. I mean, uh, certainly Gen AI is taking center stage within the procurement and supply chain space, right? As leaders, we are all challenged to anticipate risk. We're all challenged to get to take mitigation actions. We're all challenged to move faster and make faster decisions. And Gen AI is certainly a tool that gives you superpowers to accomplish that. In the past, it would take you weeks, and even you would have to work with consultants to make sense of so much data that you have around there. from your suppliers, from supplier performance, from understanding your product's cost structures, to understanding your product supply chain, down to the different tiers, right? Their suppliers of their suppliers of their suppliers. That information in the past was extremely hard to get. By leveraging AI, now you can have that information in the tip of your hands. And with that, you're able to pivot much faster to find alternative supplies. I currently work
Mhm.
for the biotechnology and life sciences industry, and regulation is critical. Risk mitigation is essential. And for that, um, AI is a great partner just to anticipate impacts around regulation, impacts about product compatibility, impacts around product changes, making sure that we are aligned with international regulations. So there's many use cases. There's also use cases around contract management. There's also use cases around forecasting, around better purchasing, around savings. It's incredible what you can do also to find savings by leveraging AI. So there's a ton of things that can be done. You just need to know how to ask for it and get what you need. So those would be my thoughts for now.
Great, great. And Mr. Mohammed?
Yeah, thank you. See, let's speak frankly, that's currently most of the procurement leaders are under a huge pressure to reduce the risk because we have seen the world in the last 4 years. There's a lot of things happening, starting from the COVID and the Red Sea issues. So the procurement is requested to adapt accordingly. The GNI will help to reduce the risk, ensure the transparency, and optimize the cost saving. And that's all while managing increasing complex global supply chain network. So I think the GenAI will bring ability to analyze thousands of supplier data points and to check the market condition as an intelligence point and the contract laws at scale, which is simply impossible manually. We all know that it's very difficult to do. So there is two things here. That's the value we get is that we have a measurable outcomes from fewer sourcing delays and the supplier risk reduction and faster negotiation cycle. So we could say that, we all know that the procurement touch over 60 to 70% of the enterprise spend. That means even 1% of the cost saving will have a million impact in the company.
Yeah.
And the manual contract review takes sometimes 2 to 4 weeks. We all know this problem, and we are seeing that the GenAI could help this and do it in hours. I tried it many times. Instead of a huge review, we could create some way of doing the contract in a fast way instead of spending long weeks back and forth. So traditional supplier scorecard, which we know now, the supplier management, the SRM, has become one of the very important points we have in the supply chain. So traditional supplier scorecard are backward looking. The GNI will help to predict the future performance. So let's say finance needs speed, accuracy in a closed cycle. Supply chain will need a resilience, but the procurement sit in the middle. This is the point. And Gen AI will help to make more spend what you call the control and empower both functions. And thank you.
Great, great. I think great perspective from each one of you. So what is standing out is it is moving beyond experimentation and going into execution now. It is earlier there was a lot of proof of concept happening. So now it is execution time, which would drive probably the measurable value and also impact, speed, maybe decision making, faster decision making. All this is what Gen AI is giving to the business. So this is a very important perspective that each one of you have told from your respective domains. Thank you very much. Our next question I would want to ask about is, many organizations struggle to know where to start. Now, probably, what is your advice? Now, how do we start it? Do you want? I mean, as I already heard that people are not looking for doing POC, but still, is it a now? Do you want to start with a pilot or just go ahead and go for a big bang? What do you expect? What each one of you would want to comment on that? Probably, Mr. Srinath.
Hey, thanks, Raj, once again. For the previous question, I think good input from Mohammed and Rodolfo. Thanks for that. Hey, but for this question, Raj, the quick wins, right? So, Gen AI could be the talking point now, but before that, if you look at the last a decade or so, right? We had RPAs, we had machine learning capabilities all come in. So AI could have been buzzword after the chat GPT came and created a big wave that okay, it is so chat GPT ensure that the AI reaches the end user in their mobile device, So that's a reach which with Gen AI is reached, right? But at the same time, when you want to when do we start experimenting? So as I mentioned, it's no more experimenting. They want to start with the adoption. So if you look at any enterprise today, they will have at least 20 to 30% of automation already done. That 20 to 30% automation, which be already either would be in RPA, or it could be in terms of or it could be in terms of a machine learning capability. So what AI does is, where the customers are seeing is whatever automation that I have done in previous processes, right? It could be finance process, like for example, how I can able to automate my journal entry, right? Today, there are RPA bot which you be able to upload the journal entry and post into my books of accounts. But now, what customers want is, I don't want system to just do a I don't want to even do an upload. I don't want to do a no kind of a mapping. So where does AI comes? AI comes in a perspective and helps in you not just automating, but also proposing the journal entry and say, okay, this is a journal entry that has been done. How can I able to post it? Okay, so such kind of automation is what AI is trying to do it. Similar case in terms of anomaly detection, right? I have a robot system, SAP, non-SAP, multiple applications, where the system is in a position to find out anomalies between multiple application, multiple transactions. Is there any duplicate invoice coming into my system? Right? Is there any vendor misuse? Whether I'm giving my, for example, in a procurement use case, whether I'm able to doing duplicate payments, right? So like that, there are a
Mhm.
lot of things which directly they want AI to find out. Okay, and those are already available as part of the automation. If not, they would able to just directly adopt it. And there's no point of doing a POC and trying it out. What it could be my benefit analysis. By default, there are enough use cases that they can able to adopt it. Uh, the AI, because the reason is the algorithm is available, the metrics are available, users are available, that technology is available. So it is not just people, process, or the no use cases. Even the technology is available. For example, if you look at SAP nowadays comes out directly with the embedded AI. SAP as an ERP company also is becoming like an AI company, wherein we come with a strategy called AI first and suit first. So when we go and speak to customers, AI is by default available. We don't go and sell AI as a service or AI as a module. We sell it as a part of a transaction. So, and that's where customer says, okay, so it's no more finance, it's no more procurement, it's no more supply. It's AI is part of the core ERP itself. Thank you.
That's a great perspective where SAP is coming up now. Probably we used to remember. I used to remember being in AGC and S4 HANA, and then transaction by transaction we used to do checking GL as well as entries, checking all this auditing done. But okay, great.
Correct.
Mr. Mohammed, from your end, what do you expect? When I also heard you once before in the earlier question, but still I would want to hear where do you start if we are given a chance, then where do you start? Would you want to do a pilot or directly go for execution?
Well, I think it's better to begin with a targeted use case like contract analysis and supplier scoring. Why? Because those processes are very rich of data. It's a repetitive case, and this make them very ideal for early wins once we
Hmm.
start implementing. So let's say we could start with a pilot framework, like we say from 6 to 8 weeks. We can start with the contract expiry analysis, which is one of the pain point, or the supplier scoring, and that we could start doing the percentage and the metric for this one. Once the wins come, then we could expand on let's say 3 to 6 months when we start acquisition and RFQs.
Hmm.
And this preparing the right RFQs, I think it's one of the problems we have in the procurement world is that we don't have, usually we receive a very, what you call, a very bad written RFQs, or there is any mistake and when writing the descriptions, which is create a lot of problems. I have witness of one of the AI system that's give a chatbot that the end user start speaking, writing down, saying, for example, I want to buy this one. Okay, we give you this description. I want to buy this one. I give you this description. Accordingly, he knows what's the policy, so we avoid any future conflicts. This will help frankly, to do a cost avoidance and to accelerate the cycle time, and which means we have a reduction on our cycle times. Later, in a big scale, we could speak about automating the purchasing and reducing the tail spend, all those other things. So from my point of view, what is the matter here? We have a low risk entry point with high visibility. So the management will start touching what is the problem and how the procurement and GNI are working together, and what's the organization we have here. This will build also organizational trust through a quick win. So once the others understand the value of the Gen I here and how the procurement is leveraging this one, people will start to support. Yes, one another big pain point is the data cleansing. So with this start, I think we get a good data quality in the service and a controlled environment. If we speak on the contrast with the finance and supply chain, I think this will help very much on the pilot of the invoice processing. The supply chain forecasting will be also enhanced. And of course, the contract intelligence will add more immediate value and minimal disruption. Thank you very much.
Great, great, great. So it is more of building the confidence first, and then moving, and faster value is what you're looking forward to. Great. Okay.
Exactly.
Mr. Rodolfo, how about your what is your perspective on this?
Yeah, what I've seen here in the US is a combination of different adoption strategies, even within organizations. First, organizations look at their most immediate needs, right? It could be
Mm,
preventive maintenance, or it could be customer service, or it could be supply chain resiliency. There's different cases that, from a top-down level, organizations want to tackle with all of their resources, and they
yeah.
commonly work with a consultant. They try to build some kind of solution. Um, and I guess I think the common theme is we are all learning how to leverage it. This is a live technology. Every day it changes. Every day it has new capabilities. So it's a constant exploration every day of what else it can do. How can you automate more systems? How can you connect them? So just the evolution is exponential. It's almost impossible to stay on top of all the new capabilities that you see from one month to another. So that's one aspect, right, where I think organizations are tackling their biggest challenges through their IT departments, with consultants. With Now, there's another layer that I'm seeing that goes, a lot, that is with the individual teams, where it's more of a private exploration of what it can do. how can you leverage it to make your life easier, to make, to come up with better data. And I think most of the cases are outlying there, right? Where you have subject matter experts within procurement, within supply chain, within finance saying, hey, I have this ton of data. How can I make sense of it? How can I automate it? How can I do this and that and that? And let me play around with it. Let me explore. Let me ask around. And I think right now, all of us, I think we're as I mentioned, we are all learning about it. We're all getting acquainted with this new technology and really getting impressed. At least myself, I get impressed every day with the things it can do for me. And I think it's just a matter of being bold and creative and see, let's ask what 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 can this,
Do for me.
get me,
Yeah.
right? Obviously learning the right prompts is
Hmm.
critical. Learning how to ask it to do the things you need to is critical. But I think that it's an exploration um, phase where then a lot of these use cases that are being identified through all these subject matter experts will become institutional programs that are fully funded. So I think those are the two things that I'm seeing right now. But I think what they all have in common that it's just an iteration after iteration because this thing changes so much, even for experts. So you have to make peace with the fact that it will constantly change. So that's what I have to share.
Excellent point,
In
Rodolfo. I
fact,
think you right.
yeah,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
fact,
Yeah,
Raj,
Srinath, please.
just to add, Rodolfo, I think we all have becoming prompt engineers, right? So the right prompt get the right answers, and no, I keep it iterative so that no, we get the
Exactly.
desired result.
Exactly. I was about to say that because the way we started in our careers, how it has moved on, and suddenly, boom! It all changed. Right now, we are doing something different than what we have been doing all this time. So
True.
yeah, very very true. Excellent point, Mr. Rodolfo. You have put it across very good. This one. So let's move to the third question that we have. Um, where can generative AI create the biggest impact? From each one of your perspective, where do you think that biggest impact can come in? From probably from finance, procurement, and supply chain. You can just you already had mentioned somewhere here and there, but I just want to put it across so that people who are listening, they can think about it and then take it forward from their own perspective. Probably, yeah, Srinath sir, you can do it. Start it.
Okay. Yeah, let me start. So, just not limiting to what do you say, rather use cases. Okay, but we have to when I say biggest impact, right? The impact lies in what, again, when I say the first question, right? Is it cost reduction? Is it efficiency? Is it risk? So if you look at, we need to have the category, and in each category, which are the biggest use cases which could able to have a biggest impact,
Mm.
right? For example, when I spoke about whether AI could able to automate my books closure, whether it could able to post my journal entry, or it could be helping in my anomaly detection, or it could be helping in, say, for example, during a, I'm sure most of them would know the challenges in planning, right? So today people mostly use Excel-based templates for planning, right? So when you integrate with SAP, when you with non-SAP application, whether AI could be in a position to do simulation, do a pessimistic planning, do a optimistic planning, do a realistic planning, how you can able to do a simulation of all the factors which is considering internal data, external data. For example, now that we are all being succumbing to different example would be tariffs, right? So if the tariff is getting changed overnight, what is the impact on my pricing? What could be impact on my profitability? What could be impact on my employees? So whether AI should be in a position to AI should be in which could have the highest impact, and that's where there are methodologies adopted by SAP when because the way that we also going on advising customers when they have a question, are we ready to adopt AI? Right. So There are prescriptive method, and there are where we go and tell customer that if you are in a different landscape, for example, necessity of AI to be on cloud, right? So the power to generate more data, the power to more analyze more data, what it does it take? So that's where we go and see do a very scientific analysis and tell, okay, so if you adopt AI for your bank reconciliation, so automating the bank reconciliation from 100% manual to AI based one, how far it could automate. 90% of the job can be done through AI, 10% manual intervention for processing. So, or the cash flow analysis, predictive cash flow, considering your open sales order, open purchase order, bank balance, how AI can able to give you a predictive workshop mode will be able to adopt faster, uh, more resulted, and that's where the quick win for the CFO comes into picture. Thank you.
Okay, great, great. Uh, how about it from your side, Mr. Mohammed?
I think there's three highest impact area in the procurement side. So first, the gain is from the Power BI is in the from the AI is the supplier discovery, contract intelligence, and the spend analysis. So, but from my point of view, the contract intelligence is the first point, and that could give immediate ROI for the company because we can extract the KTMs from thousands of lines to be in hours. Auto flag for the dates of the contract renewal. If there is any price escalation clauses in the contract, we don't take mind. I think this is the common one of the common mistake we have, and also the compliance gaps, especially in some certain industry. So I can give that SAP Ariba, or the SAP the Ariba contract can be, for example, connected with a BTB AI core. Let's say this is the example.
Yeah.
Second thing is the supplier risk scoring, which means that we need to reduce the risk or to mitigate risk. This could help on continuous monitoring of supplier financial health check because most of the company are not taking care of the annual health check for their suppliers. There is now a high guess here. There is a hype that everyone is looking on a vendor management, but I think this is one of the main point, the financial health check. Also the delivery performance, and definitely the ESG compliance, which is one of the big flag we have now. And
Yeah.
if there is any predictive alert before the disruption occurs, I mean, we will be ready. So the AI will help to predict these things. I hear that some people are using Ariba supplier management in with a SAP analytic cloud. I'm not sure about the point you could give us or enlighten us on this one. Last thing, I think the smart requisition, as I said before, there's usually a problem with the with writing down the PRs. So having what you call efficient and smart RFQ, RFP, then it will help reducing the procurement cycle time and the historical spend. We could get more clarity on the budget availability because we are really suffering with this point. And this could, from my experience, this could help to reduce the maverick spend by 20 to 30%. Okay, just having a dashboard and understanding where is the problems. I just have small, what do you call, one of the other company, they just use it in a small functions. I think they have over 800 supplier contract with no visibility, and they don't know what's the auto renewal and what is the finishing this year. So I think the Gen I will analyze this in 3 4 days, and this helped to save a lot of money that from this for this company. Thank you.
Great, great perspective. In fact, one of my customer who is in chemical industry has this same problem because when they take raw materials as chemicals, the vendor has to give the certifications specific to each chemical. and then they would have given it, but then that would have been already expired. So there is no way that they would know which vendor has given which certification at what time, whether it is expired, not expired. So they had the same problem, and then we are working on it as well, to enable AI to remind the vendor directly that the certification is going to expire in 3 months or 2 months, whatever the timeline, and they can recertify themselves and then bring it back to our customer, so that they can upload the certificate in the SAP system, and it will automatically pick up the date and remind them for the next year if it is getting expired. Great perspective. How about you, Mr. Rodolfo? How what do you expect as a
Ye-
yeah?
So I completely agree with what has been said. Right, these are right. These are examples are right in spot. So I'll try to address some additional things beyond what's already been mentioned. Right. So absolutely, contract management is a very clear improvement that your immediate ROI that you're going to get. There's a lot of software platforms that are already developing AI capabilities. So a lot of these features are just going to come in as part of the tools that most organizations are already using. So I guess that's great, right? It's not just going to be about you trying to figure it out. A lot of these suppliers are already in, if not all of them, are already emitting these capabilities. So they will keep maturing. But one key thing that I believe is also very, very um, valuable within the use cases is being able to obtain critical information about your supplier's cost structure, for example. Having the ability to run a top-down cost analysis to understand, how to negotiate more effectively,
Uh,
how to track changes in commodity prices, how to know how those impacts represent in terms of the supply, the cost structure, and then how to push back intelligently. In the past, right, this came through a lot of years of experience or having your suppliers share that information openly with you, which obviously almost never happened. But there are cases. But with these capabilities, now you have a very close picture, and you are able to even build very robust negotiation strategies from a lot of different angles. So it really gives you a lot of power as a negotiator when you're in front of a supplier, and you want to get obtain cost avoidance savings, or you actually want to renegotiate something. This gives you superpowers. Same thing as you want to identify alternative supplies. It's amazing just to find what it's out there. Identifying other suppliers, same thing, right? You would normally go and try to find this within the internet, and you would not get reliable resources. But it's impressive what you can get. The other key aspect that has already been mentioned, but I think it's critical to mention, is the ability to um, identify savings through spend data. Most organizations have very messy spend data. A lot of their indirect spend is spread everywhere. It's not managed by procurement teams, and nobody really understands what are the savings opportunities out there. But with AI, in my case, I was able to analyze all the companies' spend, break it down by category, break it down by all the different attributes, and then identify where are the indirect categories where you can actually negotiate and not the most value as a procurement professional. And the potential is enormous, and it goes even beyond that, because AI is even capable of giving you strategies on how to negotiate, how to buy category, buy commodity, buy. So it's an impressive set of information that can be used for any supply chain or procurement professional's advantage.
Great perspective, in fact. So, whether it is contract or whether it is negotiations or spend analysis, all this is generative AI is making their way into it, and that's a great perspective from each one of you. So, moving on, let's have one more now another question coming in. Um, how is generative AI within SAP helping teams move from reactive to predictive and probably to autonomous as well? So have you have any kind of a use case that how it been used as a reactive use case or a predictive or probably an autonomous use case? Probably we can start with you, Mr. Rodolfo, since you're there already.
Yes, absolutely. For example, when in my case within the procurement space, if we get notified, for example, about a big acquisition of our key suppliers,
Hmm.
right? Um, In the past, you wouldn't really know what to expect, but with AI, it's impressive because you're able to be one step ahead, and you can say, okay, tell me what is the behavior that this acquiring company has had in in past acquisitions, and then you can go through all that history and understand, well, this company laid off people, cut costs, renegotiated contracts, or invested in new capabilities, or did XYZ. But now that information is available to everybody, if you know how to get it, and that gives you very important very important information about that. I mean, I think same thing with commodity market trends, right? You can have a perspective on when is a good time to lock in a long-term contract to get the best possible pricing, right? Um, that all gives you key information to understand the market trends for specific commodities or the economy overall, and make better informed decisions. Obviously, within the supply chain planning space, it's absolutely critical as well, because right now we're also starting to see risk management tools where they can predict potential risks that are aligned, for example, to geopolitical risks, to bottleneck concentrations, to uh, problems aligned with suppliers from your suppliers on the third and fourth tier. With AI, now you can identify those potential cases that are extremely hard to see and say, okay, you know what? I think there's an issue here with this city in China that consolidates 10 of my suppliers, right? We have to do something about it proactively. But that is another good example of how you can take action and leverage all these predictive capabilities.
Great point. A great use case, in fact, since if generative AI can or if the AI can give you this kind of an information, definitely you are always a step ahead, and then it is always a predictive, and then you are ready for any kind of challenge that is going to be faced. Great. How about you, Mr. Mohammed? What do you think now? What do you think from a predictive or a reactive, or probably an autonomous? It should be autonomically given give.
Yeah, actually, through this long journey with the procurement, we are always trying to be more predictive.
Hmm.
Because being like a service department is not helping everyone, and the world is changing, frankly. So I think with the AI tools now, procurement can be more anticipated the supplier performance issue or pricing volatility before they impact the operation. So the AI can give the insight and allow the team to negotiate better and act before the disruption occur. So just to shift from the traditional reactive to the Gen AI predictive, I can give some example. So usually we have a supplier failure to deliver. So we always scramble for alternative. So
Mm.
that's a reactive. Or there's a contract expire, then we rush for a renewal and do a fast and what do you call a very rough negotiation. If the price increase, we are always surprised. If there is a GNI helping there, I think if the supplier fail to deliver, we already have a AI flag for a delivery risk, let's say for 30 days based on capacity after looking inside the stress of the financial signal. If the contract is expiring, we already knows that before 90 days that the contract is about to be expired. So the team has a good knowledge about that. If the price increase, I think we could find a way to understand that there is a international commodity change. Let's say, for example, the Trump decisions, there was a big confusion in the world. Is it going to be increasing? Is it going to be decreasing? We was all confused, but that case was depend on the industry also. So the capability is very high here, from auto renewing the low value purchase with a pre-qualified supplier, or doing a renegotiation, or self-healing the supplier chain adjustment when the primary supplier flag was at risk. Uh, I can give some example for China, for example. There is a well-known shortage of the semiconductors. If the AI was there, supplier will know there is some problem with the inventory before, let's say, 6 weeks, and the primary supplier will be notified, or we will be prepared for having more stock in hand, and we'll keep a production running at that side. Thank you very much.
Great, sir. Great. Great perspective. And finally, Mr. Srinath. Srinath?
Sorry, I think I was talking on mute. I
Okay.
think both of the gentlemen, covered most of the use cases, which is relevant to their respective processes and the industry challenge. Uh, from my perspective, with our experience of interacting with multiple industry leaders, because most of them use SAP as a backbone, no ERP system, uh, I would reiterate all the use cases. Plus, why AI is implementing, Rodolphe said, they want more predictive. It could be on pricing, it could be on material availability, it could be on resource availability. So they want more of prediction, that how they could able to prevent certain kind of activity, right? Like Rodolfo told about global risk management tools, risk AI coming into picture, what could be the impact on their business, etc. In similar case, what we also foresee AI is being used from the actual, I would say, uh, cash position, right? So whether AI would be in a position to really give me the picture, what could be my profitability if A, B, C happens, right? So predictive planning, predictive impact on my cash outgoing, incoming. Also, probably a very sensitive topic is on the fraud detection, right? So if you ask Gartner or any of the largest research use cases, what you see is that the top 10 use cases, among the top 10, the top three would be always on the whether my system AI could be is in a position to predict a kind of an anomaly, predict any kind of fraud detection, an employee misusing the privileges that has been given to them, right? Like duplicate invoice, changes to the pricing, right? Like Mohammed was mentioning about the contract intelligence, right? So is somebody fudging about the contracts to in favor of certain vendors, right? Is there any some sales happening with a reduced higher discount to a more privileged sale customer? So why such use cases are coming is my whole system should be with the data available, with the capable of machine learning, with the capability of AI, the programming can able to predict certain events happen. Okay, so no more detective, it's all preventive. With preventive, it's all based upon prediction. So
Mm.
with the algorithm in place, with the data available, AI is in a more favorable position to predict more pattern-based scenarios, more what do you say, global scenarios, and help customers in what is it, preventing risk, being more efficient, and reduce cost. So if you see me, I'm always telling about the CER because that's where most of the use cases fall in. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Great, Srinath, sir. So it's more about predictive. I think all of them has touched upon the predictive and being preventive. So that's a well taken one. So let's move on to from a use case to the people side of it. So how does the human role evolve, when it comes to Gen AI automating the tactical work? How does this evolve? Because now we are talking about all the use cases, how it would predict and prevent and all those things. Let's talk about the people now. So how does it that evolve? Probably you can start, Srinath sir, since you're there already on the screen.
Okay, simple. It, there's a there's a thread called ethical AI, right? So
Yeah.
whether AI is biased, right, with the data available, with so much of data available, with so much of prompt which is we give on asking the questions to the AI, and also from an ERP perspective, enterprise perspective, we have got multiple data points, right? It could come from sales, purchase, HR, all those things, right? So when you see about ethics AI and also biased thing, the human uh, approvals or human insights come into picture. It is not that all AI reports or AI no, data which is coming generated out of AI has to be accepted. Okay, so
Yeah.
humans play a very pivotal role in giving data back to AI, saying that okay, this is the right decision that I have taken, right data which has come out from multiple systems. Okay, and and they act as like a gatekeepers, right? Our human intelligence is always super efficient than the AI data, AI decision making. AI could be a guiding factor. AI could be a gatekeeper. AI could be an advisor in giving you faster, quicker, and more summarized way of telling you data, right? But at the end of the day, humans intelligence comes into picture. Okay,
Yes.
for example, I would say always is nowadays there are good interesting use case that I always tell is um, how can I insert data of a listed company into chat GPT? It will give you results. Okay, this is the EBIT, this is the EBITDA, this is profit after loss, this is the tax incurred. But yes, it is nothing but it gives data from the balance sheet. But whether the data is actually real or not is where you go and do a analysis of balance sheets with your own intelligence, right? So if you're a star, if you're into stock market, you know, right? You get so much of advices today, right? You can invest in chemical industry, you can invest in IT industry. There are so much of advice which comes. But what do? You always go back to your human intelligence, say that okay, if this is a profit after tax, whether it could because of the global environment, whether this company will give me my returns back, right? So that's where humans comments and human intelligence is very very critical in terms of accepting the output from AI actually. Okay, and no use cases today. If you ask me, no use case in SAP world, okay, which we call as business AI, is without human intervention, right? Humans are integral part of every AI project. Okay, and they act
Great.
as a they are that's a guardrail. Okay, I would say
Yeah.
GURAD guardrail. Humans are the guardrails of the entire AI structure, right? We should always come with a clause, the disclaimer that whatever AI comes, we need to accept it, but at the same time, with our own intelligence, we need to scrutinize, we need to use our experience and accept it.
Good perspective. Obviously, humans intelligence can never be replaced, whatever whichever AI comes in. Good perspective. Mr. Mohammed sir, how do we what is your take on this?
Okay, so we all know that the procurement specialists, they spend over 60% of their time doing a normal work, documentation and extra. So I think the opportunity here is to move from manual RFQs management to building a supplier partnership and developing a strategic source. So we move from to be more strategic. And the expertise now lies on judging, on negotiation, and they spend more time strategically. If we speak about the rule transformation, the old procurement rule is about what? Creating purchase requisition, manual contract review, reactive supplier management, spreadsheet analysis, one of the main points we have, and firefighting disruption. So you find all the data around this one. Now, with the AI, we can do what? Number one, designing the sourcing strategy, which help the company to be more proactive, negotiate a complex term in AI service, and building a proactive relationship with the supplier, and then they can make a strategic decision making with AI inside. The AI will help in taking the decision. And it could help you also, instead of doing a firefighting disruption, it could give more scenario building and risk mitigation. So the skills should be, the skills involvement should be evaluated to be like less data entry, less document processing, and basic analysis, which we encourage everyone to be proactive, as we are now into the board of many companies. And to be now, the new skills should be more strategic thinking, supplier chain management, supplier relationship management, and then the AI insight interpretation, and need to change the leadership, because we have a problem with having a leader, a very real leaders. So because they spend all the time on the documentation, they don't develop their skills, they don't develop their what they need to think about, they're not thinking strategically. I have a message here to all the buyers that Gen AI will hand it all the repetitive work, the continuous repetitive work, so you can focus on what humans do as a best, because we are human, we are not machine. We have to think more strategically. Okay, we have to have some imagination on what could be done. So instead of doing this paperwork, please focus with the AI. It could help you doing that one. We have to build a trust with the supplier. We are human, so there's some emotional relationship could be built, and be creative, more creative with the problem solving instead of being reactive. And finally, the strategic negotiation under the AI service. That's my message.
Great message to all procurement leaders. I think you guys are having a great time hearing out this from experts. Great. And finally, Mr. Rodolfo, from your end, how do you expect the human role evolve here?
Yeah, it's a key part because AI is needs to be driven by humans. AI is just a complement to human thinking. Um, you cannot let AI make decisions for you and assign accountability to a system that that is prone to errors, right? We cannot just delegate all these business decisions and human decisions to a system. So it's very important that any output that we get from AI is validated and understood by a human, because uh, these systems are clearly prone to a lot of errors. They just work with the inputs that they receive, and if those inputs are not good, the outputs are not going to be good. So we have to be very responsible and very conscious that of of this, right? Garbage in, garbage out. So we have to be very careful of how we use it, how we make decisions with it. Obviously, ethics are a key part here, right? Um, we have to make sure that we educate users to understand that this is a, you know, this all the use cases need to be aligned to things that actually improve, improve a business, improve people's living. But right now, I don't think there are any guardrails around how it can be used. And beyond the business side of things, we're starting to see how it can be used for many other nefarious purposes, right? So we have to stay very vigilant because, as I originally mentioned, this technology evolves so fast that it's almost impossible to catch up. So people need to have a sense of understanding and a sense of responsibility when they're using this tool, because it can definitely create a lot of damage if it's not used by the right hands and with the right judgment.
Extremely well pointed out, Mr. Rodolfo. And since now we've heard of now guardrail been coming out as a point, um, my next question to all of you would be, how would you ensure the compliance or the transparency, the governance, if even if you are implementing a Gen AI, how do we get that? Because as Mr. Rodolfo has already mentioned, this is constantly changing. So this week you see something, the next week you have a different point, or a different way of doing things. So it is constantly changing. So how do we ensure the compliance and the governance to this? Probably you can continue, Mr. Rodolfo. I think I want to hear from you. How do we do that perspective from your domain?
Yeah, I think we need to start building the right policies around it. I think the most immediate concern was privacy, right? When people started hearing about AI, I recall the first time the business I was working for wanted to start using it, and I recall the legal team saying, "Stop, stop! Like we have to look into the privacy aspect and understand how how us our information going to be used. We don't want to train a model that is going to be harvested by our competitors or by somebody else, right? So I think it all started there, um, but it goes just way beyond that. I think for, policies need to be built around it, around what are acceptable cases, about uh, even laws, international laws around, these tools could be extremely dangerous for scamming, for phishing, for fraud of all sorts, and it is incredibly difficult for a common person now to understand that they're being tricked by an AI system. In the past, I think a lot of people have taken all these uh, these courses where they teach you how to detect a phishing, an email that is a scam attempt, right? Where you can detect wrong spelling or strange, strange logos. But now it's not. That's not the case. It's impossible. So there need. I think a huge industry around security will grow to keep us protected from AI. And it's going to be very challenging because as it is right now, it's extremely dangerous. They can, you can get a call, they can be very convincing, pretender from your bank, and you will have no way to tell. So there needs to be a lot of regulation around this, and unfortunately, I think it's going to take many years and many disasters until there's a definite framework, right? So I think it's just building all the policy from the individual level down to the governmental side of things. So that's what I would say.
Great perspective. Thank you. I mean, yeah, obviously it would take a lot of disasters to come in first, and then probably create a policy around that. We learn from mistakes, right? So that's how we do it always. What about now you, Mr. Srinath? What is your take on it? How do we how do we build a guardrail? You said that humans are the guardrail, so I want to hear from you about it.
Okay. Hey, thanks. Rodolph touched a very sensitive topic of, security, cyber, and how AI is going to, enhance it. Plus, also how we have to be caution about it. Given this, when you speak about governance and transparency, I'm sure we would have heard about, probably, or you can also go and research back. There are enough guidelines from a global standards. For example, IFRS standards on AI, or the cybersecurity standards on AI. We have different standards which is comes in, not just from a perspective of cybersecurity, or not just from a privacy management, but the overall governance which is required. I'm sure it will, we know the governance which is comes for your audits, governance, different standards are available. And AI, even though this has taken many years, but I would say AI governance is much more quicker. The transparency the standards have come forward. If you look at it, there is already a kind of a standard like ISO 9001, 27001 for security controls. There is already a AI security controls which is already in place. Right. So there are enough guardrails, there are enough controls, there are enough transparency framework which is already come in. Okay, and the acts like your GDPR Act, Global Tariff Act, which all comes into picture. The transparent governance for any of the AI projects is by default available. I want to expand from a technology perspective also. When I say technology, the service providers like SAP, or OpenAI, or the Perplexity kind of engines, they also have a kind of a mechanism. They also have kind of a ethical AI behavior standards, which they also have to comply with it, and they on all their programs, the algorithms by default comes out with removal of bias, removal and adherence to privacy standards. So they come by default. But at the end of the day, to just expand the previous question, is there where we come into where humans come into picture, right? How far we could able to rely on the data which comes out of AI, right? One key example would be that we have the auditors, right? Internal auditors and external auditors. How far they are ready to evaluate the AI output. Right, so there are enough models, there are enough guidelines for them to also to be following it up, and that's where the learning by experience, I would say, is much quicker in AI than the previous technology adoptions has taken time. Okay, we don't need to wait for disaster to happen today. We have enough use cases in the world to learn from, to prevent the disaster in our own AI projects. Thank you.
Great, great, great. How about you, Mr. Mohammed?
Yeah, I think in procurement, compliance isn't an option. It's its existence. So we should ensure that they compliant through three layers, as I could make it as simple as it. So the first thing, AI rules align with the corporate and legal policies from day one. Okay. And second, we think we use the risk-based human control to load the value approved supplier and then the auto process, but analyze also the significant required human validation. And third point is to have a complete audit through the trail, show that where the I recommend improvement. Okay, so it's a three layers, as I say: policy embedded, compliance, and risk-based human control, and the compliance for the audit. Sorry, or complete audit trail. Um, just for the risk-based human, let's say, for example, the DOA we have. Let's say that anything below 10,000 K could be automatically approved, let's say. Medium risk, let's say from 10 to 100K, it's they could recommend, but the humans do the approval. So it is not automatically. Then let's say for above 100K, if new supply, let's say, The AI will assist given the matrix, the evaluation matrix, and then the approval will be through the committee. This is just an example from my head. And for if we speak about the audit trail, let's say AI could recommend where is the data resource, where is the compliance point, and where is the approval. And then lastly, the AI could handle the routine, but the control is the human control because we still away in the logic. We still have this another what you call evaluation matrix on that one. Thank you very much.
Extremely good. It's a very good point. I think we are almost end of the session. I just want one more question to come in from going into you. What would be the one final piece of advice for all the leaders, all the people who have joined in as our audience today, who are moving into Gen AI or thinking of moving into Gen AI and using Gen AI after our discussions, plus SAP also, because SAP is also an integral part. What do you think they should have that in mind? You already given one piece of advice. I would want that again from you, Mr. Mohammed. Probably, what do you think that these people should look at from your domain perspective?
Frankly, this is my perspective, and I hope everyone is in the line with this. So, generative AI isn't just changing how we work, it's redefining what's the possible in procurement. So, my advice to the leaders start small, focus on measurable impact. So, you could give some impact to the team and to other department and make AI as a partner and smarter. So that could expedite the work and give more transparency and help on decision making. So
Hmm.
it's a tool at the end of the day. The future of procurement will belong to those who's combining the digital intelligence with a human judgment. So once we integrate that one, we have a huge power to do. And if we just rely on our thinking, our capability, as I say, we'll keep spending 60 time of our person doing a repetitive job. Thank you very much.
Great, great, Mr. Mohammed. And now, how about you, Mr. Rodolfo? One last piece of advice to the people who have joined now.
No, absolutely. What I would say is keep practicing, keep exploring it, keep playing with it. The capabilities that you can unlock are incredible. There are a lot of use cases, especially within supply chain and procurement spaces. There's a ton of things you can do, a lot of insights that you can get. So my advice would be, um, don't think that this technology is going to fade away, or it's something that you can just live without. This is the bread and butter. In the future, this is will be as important as knowing how to use Excel or how to use
Yeah.
Microsoft Word. It's just going to be a business commodity. So um, this is the right time to get acquainted with it, to learn how it behaves, to learn what you can do with it. And that will help you always stay on top of the curve. And also build yourself a strong reputation within each of your organizations, because organizations and leadership teams are looking for people who can develop these skills. And organizations right now are not great at teaching all of their employees about it. This has to be a self learning experience. So, my advice is invest the time to use it, to learn it, and to start seeing how you can make your work better with it.
Very good. Thank you. And last but not the least, Srinath sir, over to you.
Hey, thank Mohammed and Rodolph summarized beautifully. The advice are really golden advices. Hey, thanks both of you. From my side, I would really say first is AI. Do not take AI as a IT project. Okay, number one, AI is not
Yeah.
your ERP project. AI is not technology project. AI is a business project. Okay, You need to think from the shoes of business. If I'm a procurement guy, if I'm going to do my PRPO, GRN, and no, or RFP process, in this process, if I want to put AI, right, which one should which should the process which I should be able to have a biggest impact. Same with the sales, same with the supply chain, same with the finance. Think as a business, not from an IT perspective. AI is another enabler to improve your processes, improve your no, outputs, improve profitability. Right. At the end of the day, any IT project you take, you should be able to help it build the higher customer satisfaction, reduced cost, right? So, again, coming back to the CER, cost, efficiency, and risk, pick up the best of this, pick up the business projects, and involve IT as a converter, as a catalyst, right? But the business should own the AI project. Okay, and that's where I would say that involve, take it as a business, take it as a enabler. Thank you.
Great. Thanks a lot. I think all the people who have joined would have heard that. Take it as a business. It should be a business project than any of an IT or a CIO coming in between. So they are all enablers for you, but business is the first person who have to take it up. Great perspective. I think we have reached or crossed the time that when the time has just flown like this, but it has crossed the time and then we have to stop it here. It has been great having all three of you coming in and giving your perspective. It was a very great discussion. We had use cases coming out. We had discussed about how we can control it, how we can guardrail it, how we can take it forward without no, should be careful, but how you can take it forward, and how humans can come in. Now, how it would help humans as well, and how we can use it. And finally, a piece of advice from all three of you for the leaders who have joined in. So, thanks a lot for this session. We have explored Gen AI is not just a future vision, but an active, game-changing force, no, reshaping decision making, automation, agility, resilience across SAP and other systems as well. So now I would now request now thank you very much for all of you for coming in. It was a great session, and look forward to connect with you again in future and probably do this kind of sessions. Stay connected with all the people who have joined. Stay connected with Pronix. We will come again with a lot of this kind of sessions, which would help you to uh, think about how you can put in generative AI or SAP AI, business AI into place. And or please always feel free to reach us. We can help you in moving forward from any kind of generative AI requirements or no, SAP business AI requirements. Thank you very much for your time. And we could not take up the questions from the audiences, but we will definitely take up that and then respond back to each one of them. So, Mr. Srinath, Mr. Rodolfo, and Mr. Mohammed, thanks a lot for your time and putting in this kind of perspective across to all our users, our followers, our customers, and look forward to connecting with you again. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.
Thank you.